Black Dog After Dark is recorded in a video store by people who have been drinking. We swear a lot, and there's spoilers. It's not safe for work, unless you work in a video store and have also been drinking.
I just want to feel okay going and watch other people having sex and not feel bad about myself.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
They put her soul in a bowl. But things got out of control.
I can't believe this. I can't even die right.
Somebody please tell me this is not happening.
Now, Edwina Cutwater is dead and living in Roger Cobb's body.
You know, you have a great deal to learn about making someone feel welcome.
Let's get something straight here. I never liked you when you were in your body. I certainly don't like you in mine.
He's ruining her afterlife. She's getting under his skin. Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin in All of Me.
So, welcome to Black Dog After Dark. It is a rainy Sunday.
Welcome to the dank, dark bowels of the
Black
Dog video
yes.
on Commercial Drive in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Rainy Vancouver. Finally, rainy
Finally,
Vancouver.
some goddamn rain.
I'm enjoying the rain.
Oh, I'm loving the rain.
I'm a huge fan of the rain.
Ask us in 2 weeks if we're still enjoying the rain, and we may have a different opinion, but right now,
I will
bring
not.
it on.
Much
I said no. I'm happy for the next 10 months. Here
I
in
laid in the
Vancouver.
park naked for 20 minutes a day.
Really?
Just with the rain beating down on my supple body.
Beating.
Well, I laid.
You got beaten off by the rain.
I laid in the shop naked for 20 minutes today.
And nobody came
Once
in.
I got to work, yeah,
Oh.
because my clothes were soaked.
Well,
right
while
through.
we're open?
While we were open,
Interesting.
yeah. And there was a huge increase in the
Well,
rentals.
that's why it was such a busy day.
It was.
Hey, there's a nude guy in the store. Let's go over and.
That's right. Nude releases.
Oh!
A guy in the nude release section.
Not so bad. So, I mean, how do we introduce the movie other than this week's movie?
Whose pick was this? This
well,
was your pick.
it was my pick, and the way I would introduce it is to go me.
Should we maybe introduce this week's movie was
All of Me, starring Lily Tomlin and Steve Martin. I remember it being a pretty big deal when I was a kid.
Really?
Now, what was it? I think it was like 1984 this came out?
84, 85.
84, 85. Carl Reiner directed it.
Huh.
And I remember seeing, and I chose it because I remember seeing on the news, it was kind of a big deal.
It was on the news?
Yeah, it was. Or like the entertainment news or whatever
Right.
back in the day. And it was like, wow, look at Steve Martin. Well, the premise of the film is that Steve Martin has Lily Tomlin trapped in his body.
Who wouldn't want that?
And they have to. I would love that.
Yeah, she's a funny lady.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're both into women, so.
Yeah? Well, you and I?
No, I mean me and Lily Tomlin,
Okay.
so I can double down my efforts, and
yeah.
you know.
Or
like,
maybe just
she's
half your efforts.
The
yeah.
perfect wing person to have inside your body.
I guess. I saw it in 1985. I don't think I saw it in the theater. I probably saw it in video back then. And I was around 20 in 1985, so I was getting into more interesting, more like clever kind of films rather than the stupid like Police Academy, that kind of stuff. And I remember really liking this movie in 1985.
I remember it as well from the ads. It was released in 84, and I saw it on pay TV.
Ooh.
Back when they used to call
Call
Super
it
Channel and
pay TV.
stuff, pay TV.
Yeah.
I
First
saw
choice.
it in 85, and there was always a lot of the entertainment shows. I remember all the commentators at the time in print, and that the big hype was that Steve Martin should be nominated for an Oscar. The late Jay Scott, the great film critic who died years ago, Globe and Mail critic, Canada's probably greatest film critic ever, he also argued Steve Martin. It was kind of like, a few years ago you heard like, well, that all hype in the 90s. Will Jim Carrey be up for an Oscar for The Truman Show? And then it was shocking that he wasn't. I'm just giving an example of like an unlikely nominee.
Yeah.
Back then, people were like, "Oh my God, he really does deserve an Oscar nomination."
It's like horror movies and comedies rarely get any kind of recognition. Yeah. Just that the physical comedy that Steve, especially the first scenes when his body's being it's great. That scene when he's on the street and he's trying to go into the building and back and forth between the car. When I watched it again, I was like, wow, that's just so impressive.
Even before that, as a kid, I thought it was really novel. Like I actually thought this was the height of special effects. That when he looked in the mirror, Lily Tomlin was his reflection, and I assumed that they had built another set and there wasn't actually a mirror, like.
Well, they probably did.
Do you think that
because
really?
because if you watch
Not a green screen?
Well, they didn't have green screen. Well, did they have a green screen back then?
In '84, they probably had green screens. They must have.
I don't know, but the thing is, like, their motions don't match each other in the mirror. When he looks in the mirror and he does something, she doesn't do the same thing. So she's just there.
Yeah.
So she's probably just standing there. Like that, there's no mirror there at all. It's just because.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Yeah. She's just there with perhaps a painting of a bathroom behind her.
Yeah.
And you're focused on her.
If he puts his arm out and does something, she doesn't do that. So there's no reflection. The reflection is not there. They just talk to each other basically.
Well, yeah, they talk to each other, but I had assumed that they had filmed two separate conversations at different times and then just used a green screen to sync them up at the end.
I don't think so. I have no idea.
Am I at the age where like green screen technology, I'm just taking it for granted the way people take CGI for granted now?
I think you are, because I don't think they had green screen technology in '85. I don't think that was.
The Return of the Jedi used a green screen.
Did they?
Yeah, for the miniatures.
Well, those were miniatures, though.
Yeah, but anyways, whatever the case, I thought it was incredibly innovative when I was a kid, and I was like, wow, what a premise. And I honestly have not seen this movie since I was about like 11 years old.
I haven't seen it since I watched it when I was 20.
It's been about 30 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
But Steve,
and
he's a guy who never aged.
Has he ever not had gray hair?
He's always looked that age.
He's always had the silver hair.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Steve Martin is I put him in the same category
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I almost said Jean-Luc Picard, but I meant Patrick Stewart. No matter what phase of career you look at them, they look exactly the same.
Well, the thing is,
never aged.
Jean-Luc Picard. That's not actual
Patrick
name.
Stewart.
Yes.
Patrick Stewart.
He's always been bald though. When you're bald, it's way easier to look the same age than it is when you have hair. The opening credits thing, I forgot like what a sort of 80s kind of like a feel this has to it. You know, he's a lawyer. He's in court. You know, the music's playing, and he's busting open the case. There's a dude on the stand where he's wearing a neck brace.
Oh,
He rips the guy's neck brace off and starts turning his head.
Oh, yeah, okay. And to the home listener, yeah, this is all happening while we see the opening credits.
It's a montage setting up Steve's very busy, very joyless life.
Yes, we're hearing the song "All of Me," "All of Me."
Was that playing?
All of Me. It was. Yeah. I saw that opening credit sequence, especially when Steve Martin like takes the guy's neck brace off and moves his head back and forth, and I thought, this movie's
gonna be stupid.
It's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be very broad.
Yeah.
Which at points it was, but
yes, definitely.
But yeah, that sets kind of a precedent where it's like, does the filmmaker have so little faith in me, the viewer, that he has to throw a bunch of dumb jokes in the opening credit sequence?
Like slapstick stuff. I really
super slapstick.
When I was younger, I loved slapstick. I hate slapstick now.
When you were younger, would you have laughed at a guy, like the camera's trained on the guy driving the car, and then he's talking? Didn't you immediately go, I'll bet you it's a dog or something in the passenger seat, and then it pans over
and it's
he's
a dog
talking to his dog.
Yeah.
Which made me wonder if it was Shithead from The Jerk. Because remember, The Jerk also
I have not
starring
seen The Jerk.
Steve Martin,
What?
also directed by Carl Reiner.
I've never seen The
Jerk.
The Jerk is amazing.
The Jerk.
At least I haven't seen it in 30 years, but it's amazing.
The Jerk is a masterpiece. The Jerk is a masterpiece. The Jerk is probably the most brilliant film ever made about stupidity. So but Steve Martin has a dog named Shithead in that movie, and it's also directed by Carl Reiner. And I wondered if that was a little tip of the hat to Shithead. And I wondered if it was Shithead, the same dog.
Well, who knows? Dogs come and go.
They come and go. There's a 7-year difference between those.
He probably died.
5 years difference.
Yeah. There were at least 3 or 4 scenes in this movie that I thought were hilarious.
When you LOL'd?
Hey, don't put that on me, man. I'm Generation X. I'm not some fucking millennial, all right? But I did laugh out loud. So the premise of the movie, in a nutshell, is that Steve Martin is a lawyer.
He's a lawyer, and he's unhappy with everything in his whole life.
Yes, and he secretly pines to be a jazz musician.
It's character building. It's what it is. It's just laying out what's going on.
And that was also in the opening credit sequence. It was him falling asleep playing guitar, and I liked seeing Steve Martin play guitar. Whatever happened to that?
He plays banjo.
I know. I've seen him live at
Really?
the Orpheum playing banjo, and it was phenomenal.
Really, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was. Like
Did he have a crack band with him, or was it just him?
No,
playing?
no. Actually, it was for the Vancouver Comedy Festival a few years ago, and he was being interviewed by George Stroumboulopoulos. So Steve Martin closed up the Q&A by playing banjo for about 10 or 15 minutes,
Right.
and it was just sublime.
Nice.
And I didn't realize that Steve Martin was actually that multi-talented. So in this movie, I can see why Steve Martin would sign on for All of Me and say, you know what, I'm really interested in music. I'm not just the guy with the crazy arrow through my head.
I'm only doing this if I can fall asleep playing jazz guitar.
No, but before he falls asleep, he actually plays some pretty kick-ass jazz
Yeah, there's
guitar.
some hot licks there.
Yeah. He's a lawyer, and he's kind of conflicted about his values or whatever.
He's bucking for a partnership in the firm, and the dude who runs the firm's
the guy.
I've seen that guy in a
Dana
thousand
Elcar. You know what you know him from? I'll tell you.
Baba Black Sheep.
Starts with an M, rhymes with MacGyver.
MacGyver?
MacGyver, that's right.
I never watched MacGyver.
Yeah, he was MacGyver's boss, Dana Elcar. So I was very excited. Well, I was like, oh my God, Dana Elcar.
Wow, it doesn't take,
and he's never had
much
hair.
To get you excited,
This guy has never had hair.
Well, he's bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he's always been bald. Like the principal in Back to the Future.
And Patrick Stewart.
And Patrick Stewart. Oh
Except
my
for Life Force when he grew in the ring, but that's another issue.
We should do Life Force.
Anyway, so Steve Martin is tasked with dealing with this dying woman's her will, her estate, or whatever.
Yeah. He's basically an estate lawyer, like she being Lily Tomlin. Yes, please. And she's dying, and of course it's this convoluted bullshit thing where she's going to transfer her soul into a hot young thing played by Victoria Tennant. Is that who that was?
Victoria Tennant.
Yeah, and
well, there is one detail we missed though.
Oh, what's that?
Well, it's also been established that he's engaged to his boss's daughter.
That's true.
And
it's a very minor part.
It is, but he tells her at that point he wants to give up jazz to be a lawyer
and marry her. And she's like waffling.
That's right.
Yeah. So then Steve Martin is like, I'm a very serious lawyer now.
Yeah.
And his boss is getting a divorce from his wife, who is Steve Martin's girlfriend's mother.
Yeah. Yes. Just to complicate things, and for some reason she doesn't know this, and I don't know. It was basically like sitcom hijinks.
Yes, very much. Until you get to the point where Steve Martin has to go to the estate to deal with the dying, so that's where he meets Lily Tomlin's character, Edwina.
Who is, and I was gonna say Lily Tomlin is great.
She's actually my favorite thing in the entire movie, even over Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Like I thought she was funnier
because she's a rich person who's just been had everything her whole life. She's dying. You're supposed to have sympathy for her, but you're supposed to not really like her at the same time, but you really like her.
Yeah, because she's been sick her entire life.
Yeah.
So she's been in her bed. She's this millionairess.
Been bedridden forever.
Who's been bedridden forever. You want to talk slapstick comedy? Now, the real slapstick kicks in when they're trying to share a body. The first sign of good slapstick from Steve Martin is when Edwina she's in her wheelchair and she's like saying deal with this, deal with that, and she's throwing papers over her shoulder, and Steve Martin is like just trying to grab them as they
walking
fall.
behind her, yeah.
And it's the simplest fucking thing, but it's just only Steve Martin could make picking up paper funny.
I was watching that, and I was like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't be like, I'm not that flexible and ambidextrous to be like flying all over the place, and it's funny. It's funny because you just
really funny.
Yeah. It was great.
And so they get into a fight.
Of course they do. It's that classic, they don't like each other. Then
Then it's revealed in Edwina's bedroom that there's this like shaman.
Swami. The Swami. He had of course it was like.
It's got a metal bowl.
Oh, it was so ridiculous.
She basically, he's been sent to this estate detest his medal by his boss.
The Swami Prakalasa.
That's right.
That's right.
Like, oh God, I just
Swami
groaned.
Prakalasa.
And it's played by, I can't remember the guy's name, but you've seen him in thousand
Ben
things.
Kingsley or something.
Yeah, I wish it Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah, maybe practicing for his Gandhi role or something. But
or Peter Sellers, brought back to life to reprise the party, part 2.
Yes.
But he's basically, his job is to take care of this woman's estate, and we find out that the stable boy's daughter's going to inherit everything.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a stable boy, it was a stable man.
Well, stable man, but I think they refer to him as a stable boy.
Yeah, he was. Again, I've seen that dude in 1,000 things. That old English dude.
So why is the stableman's daughter going to inherit Edwina's fortune?
Because she's gotten it into her head, Edwina, that this medicine man, Swami type guy, portrayed in a very stereotypical Hollywood way, as you would portray.
Vaguely racist.
Yes.
Although I'm not sure what race they're offending there. I'm not sure.
Not racist.
It's just sort of.
It's not racist. It's just offensive.
Anyways,
offensive to who?
It's a medicine man.
That's the thing. I don't know who, because it obviously it's a.
I wasn't offended. I'm just saying though.
It's not racist.
Just
if you
jumping
can't
ahead.
Name the race. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
maybe they played it very vague just for that.
Basically, a shaman witch doctor.
Well, now that's offensive against Wiccans, what you just said.
And witch doctors from Africa and stuff, and doctors and witches.
Yeah, and men. And shameful men. It's like the three of us. Sorry, Alex.
Anyways,
sorry, Alex.
Please
I've had a few drinks.
You too, eh? Yeah.
Sorry, Alex.
Please continue.
Basically, they're going to perform this ritual. The premise is it will take Edwina's soul and put it in the body of this much younger woman.
Yeah.
And the younger woman's soul will leave her body and go and be one with the universe.
But first, the soul doesn't just go from Edwina into the hot blonde.
They're not going to do the ritual right then and there.
Well, no, not even that.
She's not ready to die.
No, we have to establish how the ritual is going to happen.
Does that matter?
Is that at first Edwina's soul goes into this
copper bowl.
This copper bowl, and then from the copper bowl into the hot blonde. But it doesn't happen when Steve Martin is at the house.
Yeah.
Because Steve Martin gets into an argument with.
Yeah, because he thinks it's absurd. The whole thing's ridiculous, and they start arguing.
Well, Lily Tomlin treats him like shit.
Well,
right?
as she does everybody.
I guess he tells her off. He tells her off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He's like, lady. No, but he's actually being very accommodating and is deferential.
Well,
the right word?
He's totally deferential. He's doing his lawyering duties.
Yeah, but then she's being a total fucking asshole to him, and he eventually snaps and goes, you know what, lady? Fuck you.
Yeah, and he gave it with a 2-finger salute.
And he storms out, and he goes back to work.
And she also says she's going to get him fired because he's such a jerk.
Long story short, what happens is she goes to the office where Steve Martin works, and while she's at the office, her soul goes into the bowl.
Right, because she dies.
And Steve Martin,
after arguing with Steve.
Steve Martin...
he storms out again.
Steve tells her off. He leaves. And then the boss comes out and confronts him, thinking that he's going to fire him. And the boss says, "You've shown such fire. I want you to handle my divorce tomorrow
from your girlfriend's mother,
from your fiance, your future mother-in-law." And basically, and Steve just leaves. He accepts the position and leaves
with his dog
and discuss. And meanwhile, Edwina begins to die,
and she gets tossed into the bowl.
The
bowl gets.
Because the hot blonde and the Swami are going next to the bowl, and then
they're right by a window conveniently.
They're right by an open window. It's so great.
Yeah, the bowl gets knocked out the window.
And then Dana Elcar comes in. I swear to God, he trips on a banana peel or something, and knocks the bowl out of the window, and it beans Steve Martin on the head.
The thing is that probably fell 8, maybe 10 stories.
Yeah,
it would have caved his fucking skull in. It would have killed him.
Yeah,
he would have lying in a pool of blood on the sidewalk, and comedy ends right there.
Here's the thing: is maybe the movie is actually his crazy delusion upon dying.
Oh,
yeah,
could be.
Yeah, it could be a Jacob's Ladder type situation.
St. Elsewhere.
You and your St. Elsewhere.
Oh, have we mentioned Steve Martin's blind jazz friend who plays like jazz horn on the sidewalk?
Not yet.
Who has one of
their bandmates
who calls him. One of the best things I've ever heard anyone called in a movie, calls him a honky. Oh, I do have to say, I love the word honky.
Honky.
You know,
I wish more people would call me that. I think
too,
it's great.
because
I will call you Honky.
Okay, we should
Just call me Honky
I
in
once
the
got-
morning. Honky.
When I was a kid, I got called a chicken shit white bread one time, and I thought that was just
Yeah,
amazing.
but you grew up in fucking Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, yes,
Yeah,
and there
tough
is
town.
a lot of racial tension there.
Anyways.
Trailer Park Boys.
So
Oh yeah. Anyways, so
Steve Martin gets hit in the head with Lily Tomlin's soul, and she
So-
goes into his body. So
she only has control of half of his body.
half his
Yeah.
left.
It
His
doesn't
right.
matter.
No, his right. No.
It doesn't matter which side.
It kind of matters.
Well, it does to the next scene when it comes up.
No, because he can't take a leap.
Well, there's
because
this amazing scene when he tries to get in the car and he has no control of his body, and it's just like the physical comedy is like
this is where the Academy Award consideration
Hey, Mook.
must be coming in, was for that 10 minutes, and it did not disappoint.
No, it did not disappoint.
Holy shit!
It was
is
so
Steve Martin
amazing.
great? And it's not just that one scene. It's when he goes into the building and then into the elevator.
Well, not
and
only was Steve Martin great in this, Lily Tomlin was great in that scene too.
Well, her voice
because
is
she was
great,
controlling the other half of the body, right?
He's like dragging his left half down the sidewalk. And it's really well written too, because he's people are staring at him, and then he's saying shit like like shut the fuck up or shut up, and they're like, no, shut up. This movie is full of jokes where he just says something like shut up, and then someone else goes like, you shut up.
A little reaction. It was those subtle bits that resonated, that made this film way better than it should have been. Really.
Yeah. So like the plot is pretty much irrelevant because blah blah blah. He has to win the big case. Blah blah blah. Blondie is two-faced.
Well, she wasn't buying it. She was going to inherit the Lily Tomlin's rich her estate, which is a giant mansion on the hill.
Her huge 20 million. At one point, they go, she's one of the richest people in California. She has $20 million. And it just made me think of Dr. Evil. Like, I want $1 million. Like, wow, in 84, $20 million was one of the richest people in California.
Yeah. Now it's like one of the poorest people in California.
Yeah. It's like, so you're on welfare if you only have.
Yeah.
That's what you get for welfare.
You're a fucking loser.
$20 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, you might be able to buy a house here if you're lucky for that much.
No, it doesn't really matter at all. It's just an excuse. It's just to show the physical comedy, and then it's a romantic comedy at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's an arc where, because they start hating each other, and then once Lily Tomlin's inside him, there's a great scene when he's trying to go to the bathroom, and she's gonna hold his dick while he pees, and then shake it.
Oh fuck!
It's so funny.
No, she goes, do you want me to tap?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, please. And she goes, tap, tap, tap. It's really, and I would love to go with this movie. I would love to take my girlfriend to see this movie. Like, book at the Rio. I mean, no one will go see it, and you'll lose a lot of money.
Yeah, but do it anyways.
But I would love to see this with my girlfriend because, like,
maybe when Steve Martin dies.
I suspect on that scene where it's like, where she's like, I don't want to. He's like, well, then I'm going to piss down your side of my body. And I don't know. Well, I would love to watch this with a woman because it's kind of the perfect romantic comedy because it's how women must think men think.
Yeah.
I mean, how else can I possibly have this?
It's very well written. It could have been dumb on either side and really stereotypical, but it's very well written and very clever and funny, and it's very funny. That's the main thing. It's very funny to have all these things happening and make it because we can all relate to that.
Like that taking a leak scene. I don't know. I keep getting lost in it, but it just really makes me laugh because the women in the audience will be laughing because that's how they would be if they were a ghost stuck inside a man's body, and the men in the audience are laughing because it's how do you explain to a woman how to pull your dick out and take a leak?
Yeah.
And the gender neutrals in the audience would just be saying, this is all the more reason to have gender neutral.
This makes perfect sense. This is what I want for the future. We will rule the world one day.
We want a third washroom.
We are millennial.
Not a third washroom, just a genderless washroom.
Which is fine. I've been in genderless washrooms before.
Fine.
It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Certain events at the Rio, they ask for it, and we just put a gender neutral sign.
Yeah.
I mean, both bathrooms have stalls anyway.
Cares?
So if you're ultimately uncomfortable, you can still shut it.
I was just at the
go pee in the alley if you're that uncomfortable.
I was up at the Culch, because I just saw this Fringe show, and they have the whole, it's a friendly, gender neutral, whatever. And they were like, gender neutral people and non-binaries, I think.
I cannot keep up with
I
all the...
got a hard time thinking of myself as a...
I'm not...
Wait a minute, am I non-binary?
Because I'm not sure what I am.
Oh, I am binary.
Oh, we're binaries? Is that what we are?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I'm definitely binary.
I always thought about you as binary.
But I've just never like had a problem. Like, I don't care where you take a leak.
No.
It's all cool.
No, it doesn't matter.
I love that a small selection of redneck assholes in the southern United States somehow
always in the southern United States.
So ignorant that their ignorance just casts a swath over the entire planet, and now you have to have like these signs like, look, I don't give a shit if a woman comes in the men's room.
Who cares? Who gives a flying fuck?
And this is okay. So, and this is, I think maybe when I picked All of Me, maybe why not take all of me? When I was watching this movie, I was thinking, I generally am not big on remakes and reboots. Like, just have a new idea.
Yeah,
but I actually would be really interested to see a remake of All of Me.
To be honest, I think they would totally pooch it. I think they'd totally fuck it up. There would be no honky mook. I think it'd be sanitized, or they go the other way to make it extreme. Like she'd shit in his pants or something like that, or there'd be some like a masturbation scene where they're all covered in cum or something.
First of all, they would probably swing the other way, and it would be like Amy Schumer with like Dave Chappelle
or Dustin Hoffman.
Or we could do it. I'd like to do a version with you and Kathleen McGee, my two favorite local comics.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, you two.
That'd be nice.
Hold on.
They did sort of remake this, by the way. If you remember, many years later.
Hold on.
Blake
Alex,
Edwards. What?
Wait. Why am I sharing favorite status with fucking a hack like Kathleen McGee? Just kidding, Kathleen. I'm totally just kidding. I love you.
I saw her do a set at...
We've done a million shows.
I saw her do an amazing set at the Number 5.
Oh, man.
Number
Imagine
5
me.
Orange, believe it or not.
Imagine, like, Kathleen McGee in my body.
Well, the thing is, they
I
did...
totally imagine. I don't know who she is, but
I would just
there
be
was
sucking
a
cock
remake.
like crazy. I wouldn't be able to...
There was a remake ripoff.
You just say she loves cock?
There was a remake.
She'll say this. She loves cock.
Who doesn't?
There was a remake ripoff years later, though. Switch.
Oh,
the Blake Edwards movie with Ellen Barkin has Corbin Burnson in her body.
And Jimmy
Smith. But Corbin Burnson's in her body, yeah.
Okay.
I remember one critic at the time saying her performance was better than Steve Martin's in All of Me, which I disagree with.
Bullshit.
She was good.
No, I saw Switch when I worked at the Paradise Theater.
Well, who else could I'm thinking who else could pull this off? I'm thinking Shaquille O'Neal and Helen Mirren. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm thinking Kathy Bates and that midget from Game of Thrones.
Dinklage.
I'm thinking. No, I got it. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Now that's a mix-up.
That's a movie. No, they're in each other's bodies,
destroy
and
each
they
other.
have to be in a
Too soon, man.
But while we're talking about new comedy and all that, one thing I really appreciate about All of Me, and it goes back to the opening credit sequence, like how simple that is. Like, it just seems so like almost hokey that they had this scene with the credits going, with him talking to his dog in the car and all this shit, right? And about 20 minutes in the movie, I was like, oh, this is so refreshing because it's a non-Judd Apatow fucking comedy.
Well, because he wasn't alive then.
Well, he was alive.
Well, he was alive.
He was like 4.
Yeah, he was like, Whatever. And he was already overbearing.
Yeah.
He was a teenager.
No. If Judd Apatow made All of Me, it would be a 2-hour, 10-minute movie.
2.5 hours long.
And every fucking comedian in L.A. would have some bit part
There'd be Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen.
Well, yeah, all of those.
Jason
Sudeikis.
Yeah, and that other Jason.
Jason Segel, all the Jasons.
Yeah, all the Jasons. All the Jasons be in it.
And then there would also be bit parts for all of his stand-up comedian friends in L.A.
Yeah.
And it would just be, and there would be this huge fucking message that got shoved down your throat at the end.
Instead of a jazz musician, he would be a stand-up comic.
Exactly.
And like the woman would take over his.
No.
You'd have a very sexist monologue, and the woman would take it over.
Actually, that could totally work.
He'd be a slam poet, actually. He'd be a slam poet, not a stand-up comic.
Are there still slam poets? Is there still a thing?
Yeah,
slam poetry?
My nephew's a slam poet. Anyways,
really?
So this
He's
fucking
like
what I really, really loved about this movie was just the simplicity. It didn't really get into, like, at no point does a feminist show up and go like, I'm a huge feminist and here's a huge feminist message. You know what I mean? Like, it really just, it was like a Billy Wilder screwball comedy.
Yeah.
It was a dude who's got a woman trapped in half his body trying to get through his fucking day. And that was pretty much the movie.
There were issues of feminism, though. I really loved the courtroom scene where he's about to help
the courtroom scene was amazing.
So
he's
good.
about to snow plow the wife. Who's divorcing on completely legitimate grounds.
Which is his
her
boss.
soon-to-be ex-husband is a dick, but Lily Tomlin totally has sympathy for the woman and sabotages his ploy to get the sleazy guy off the hook.
His boss, for some reason, his modus operandi is hooking up with women whose husbands just died.
Yeah.
At their funerals or something like that, and then betting all these older women. And so he's like they're going through the divorce court, and Steve Martin's his lawyer, his father-in-law's lawyer, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And then Lily
not his
Tomlin,
father-in-law yet.
Yeah, it was the father-in-law to be. And then even that's like when he's like sort of his, I'm not gonna say prancing because it sounds stupid, but when when Lily Tomlin has his body, he has his arm out, waving it around like he's walking.
She does a stereotypical prance.
I think it's through the whole movie, and it's constant and it's
brilliant.
It is,
and see. Because at first, when he's just trying to walk and not look like he's fucked up on heroin or whatever. It's great, and then he manages to reel it in, and I remember at one point thinking like, I'm a bit disappointed because he's not still doing it, and then I realized, but he is
still doing it.
Through the entire movie, his left hand is just turned up,
like a little mincing.
It's just, but only half a mince.
Yeah.
And that's happening in the courtroom.
Yeah, but the thing is, the best part of that, because the attention's not drawn to that like it was at the beginning, where it's funny. It's just that's part of his oeuvre.
Toning it down.
Yeah, but he's always doing it, but it's not it's not focused on that.
Yeah,
which makes it way funnier.
It falls into the background, so everywhere he goes, he's doing this little tiny dance. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I think Steve Martin deserved an Academy Award nomination for this role.
Let's make a little paper mache Oscar, and let's mail it to him.
Yeah.
And
or burn it in effigy.
Or that.
Yeah.
That too.
Be a lot easier than mailing
to
him.
That's true.
Hey, can we talk about a few of the supporting players in this
Sure,
film?
if you want.
Well, actually, there's one in particular that I was thrilled.
Got him. So we just killed a moth.
Actually,
for all the viewers at home who can't see what just happened.
No, I shouldn't.
Dylan just murdered a moth.
A moth is harmless, and I shouldn't have done that.
No, the moth is going to eat your clothes. Like if we sat for another hour,
he's going to eat the hoodies.
I only wear polyester.
He's going to eat the black doll hoodies we have.
Anyways, so not only was that. What are you doing?
Alex has decided to empty the garbage right now. So he's emptying the garbage.
Not emptying it. I'm just pulling it out.
Are you autistic? Like what? Like
yes, actually.
Like, two after 11.
Yes,
time to take out the garbage.
Well, at least
Qantas Airlines.
Anyways, let's continue on with the movie.
Okay, it's not even like the entire cast. It's just I really loved the presence of Selma Diamond. And I don't know if you know who Selma Diamond is. From Night Court.
And she's the same character in Night Court as she is.
But I adore the character.
Me too. I love her. I wish she was in it more.
Because Steve Martin, for some reason, runs around with his dog. He brings the dog everywhere. He's a fucking lawyer who's got a dog.
Which actually has nothing to do with the plot at all.
He's all mad because he's not getting an advance or whatever. He's not getting a promotion. And he's standing there bitching at his secretary, Selma Diamond, and with his dog there. And he's like, I don't know why. He's like, I want a partnership. and then it cuts to Selma Diamond, who is known for her dry delivery, and she goes,
raspy
and she just goes,
delivery.
I think you're talking to the wrong people. And it's like her and this dog, while Steve Martin is like, I deserve. And every line that Selma Diamond has in this movie is fucking funny.
Because
sorry.
Well, sorry. The thing is, for me, that's what makes this movie great, because it's those little things. It's just not about the broad comedy of being a body inhabited by another body. It's all the other characters, with all the great little lines. Like even the Swami. As like sort of I don't know we call it is there stereotypical Swami? I don't know, but he has like very funny lines because all he does is repeat whatever everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
But it's funny because his delivery is funny.
It's almost Python-esque, man. He just says what you're saying back to you and nodding. It's like but you're getting more frustrated, and he's just nodding.
But
and saying
of the era, it's a very Hollywood look at a brown person.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't. Was he from Tibet? I'm not sure.
They never say where he's from.
But still, you have to assume he's from.
But I'm not attacking the movie for that. But I'm just saying though, it very much is of that era.
It totally is, and it's borderline stereotypical. I would say racist because there's no race involved really.
One of the things I remember about the movie,
plus everyone's a bit of an idiot in this movie, regardless of.
Yeah, everyone's an idiot.
I remember thinking because there's this thing where. You're capable of opening the fridge yourself.
Well, you're right in front of it. If I opened it, you'd probably say, I'm capable of getting you.
I remember remembering this movie.
Yeah, might as well. I'll have one more, sure.
And thinking the Swami thing might be racially insensitive.
To who, though?
Well, no, because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, so I was like, I remember there being this guy in a turban or something, and
but he was even wearing. Was he wearing?
No, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He was just a guy. But what I remember was he flushed the toilet and the phone happened to ring.
And so he think there was a connection.
And so he thought there was a connection. So when the phone rang in his hotel,
he wouldn't flush the toilet.
He would go and flush the toilet,
which is a really fast flush because the phone rings quite. It's fast. But that bowl filled up really.
Toilet flushed that fast.
That bowl filled up really quickly.
But I remember thinking, this might be one of those 80s movies where there's a bunch of horribly racist shit in it.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
And then I'm like, well, the guy's not he's like a white guy with a beard, and they don't say where he's from, and fuck it.
He could be from California. A lot of freaks there.
I know, right? Yeah. Anyways, in the courtroom scene, did either of you get the liar liar vibe?
I've never seen Liar Liar. So
because I remember thinking, oh wow, Liar Liar totally ripped this movie off.
Yeah, probably.
Because there you have a movie nowhere near as clever as All of Me, where Jim Carrey, his kid wishes on a star that his father can't lie anymore because he's a pathological liar.
Wow.
And
can you imagine your dad being a pathological liar? How do you deal with that?
Being Jim Carrey?
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, and so in Liar Liar, Jim Carrey has to spend 24 hours not lying, but he's a lawyer and the big case is coming up, and so then
comedy ensues.
Watching this, I was like, Liar Liar totally lifted this from All of Me, but All of Me does it so much better.
Because it's clever and funny. Yeah.
And he eventually just breaks down and both. Oh yeah, and periodically. Oh, we haven't even talked about this.
What?
When Lily Tomlin comes through in Steve Martin's voice, where he goes what do you say, you slut? He routinely just turns feminine. Shut up. I mean, this really, oh my God, it is a powerhouse performance. Steve Martin gives.
And I think he should have been nominated for Academy Award. I'm going on a limb and saying right now, he should have been nominated for Academy Award.
Let's see who actually won that year.
Oh,
he wasn't even nominated.
Do you guys want to hazard a guess?
And it was a controversy when he wasn't.
It was 1985. I have no idea. I'm going to say, let's see.
I'm going to say, I know who it is.
84.
I'm going to say 84? F. Murray Abraham for Amadeus.
Amadeus?
It was 85 because Amadeus is an 84.
It was 84. Movie. The movie came out in 84.
So
Amadeus. It was F. Murray
Alex,
Abraham.
you keep saying 85, but it came out.
But the awards were given in 85.
For
the achievements of 84. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, well, you look this up.
He would have been if he had been nominated. He would have been nominated.
I'm gonna go.
At the 1985 Academy Award.
I'm gonna go Drain the Little Fireman and Big Ed. I have that written down here. That's what he called his dick in the movie.
Why don't we put things on pause for a second?
Little fireman and
so that I can actually
For station identification.
yeah. No,
While they were making Rhinestone, they were filming a scene in an alleyway, and there was a homeless guy just outside the perimeter of the shoot. Dolly went over to him and gave him her blanket. It was like an after-hour shoot.
Dolly's awesome.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone goes up, grabs the blanket. Don't give your blanket to that piece of garbage. He could have done something with his lives just like we did. And
really?
she turns to him and goes, "You ungrateful prick." She goes, just for that same reasoning, you could be where he is right now. You don't know what this man's been through. You could have had the exact same circumstances happen to you, and you could have even been worse than him. She said the set fell silent, and later the next day, everyone was like, "Oh my God," because Stallone was so untouchably huge.
Right.
At the time as a star. The next day, someone came up to her and actually said, "Boy, did you ever put him in his place?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "Not after you left. Not only did he give that guy a blanket, he gave him $500 cash."
Wow, amazing.
I know.
Wow. Dolly Parton's always been aces in my books.
Yeah, well, she's literally
Yeah.
rags to riches, and apparently the whole film set fell silent because they were like, "Oh fuck, what's Sly gonna do?"
Yeah.
And it shut him the fuck up.
Good.
So in 1980,
Pummeled him.
So the 56th Academy Awards for
1985?
1984, the best actor went to Robert Duvall.
No.
Tender Mercy.
But that's for a 1983 movie. That's 84
Jesus fucking Christ! All right, I'll.
Terms of that was for Tender Mercy.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so
it's always a year off.
Yeah.
The 1984
Why
film.
do they always have to do it in February? God damn it!
F. Murray Abraham and Amadeus. Yeah. Sorry to be geeking out here on this.
No, you're probably right. You fucking.
What were the other? Let's see if any of the nominees who should have been bumped out in favor of Steve Martin.
Billy Crystal.
So the 57th.
Yeah, man.
Academy Awards. Hold on. Oscars.org, 1985.
This isn't
Say
part
what
of the
you will.
podcast,
Billy Crystal was actually
really good in that.
No.
In Soap.
No, I was gonna say as a host of the Academy Awards.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I'm trying to think of anybody who has been better than him since, and all I can come up with is when Steve Martin hosted.
Steve Martin was good.
Steve Martin was hilarious, but he just took the piss out of people too much.
What about James Franco? Wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, fuck. Right. Was it Oprah, Uma?
Yeah, that wasn't funny at all.
Well, I never saw that, but it's all I ever hear about when I look up the Academy Awards.
All
right, you fucker, F. Murray Abraham.
Nice. But who else was nominated? Say who else was nominated?
Nominees: Jeff Bridges for Starman.
That was a good movie.
Albert Finney for Under the Volcano.
Awesome. Albert Finney's great.
Oh, this is a Tom Hulse for Amadeus.
Well, I would have given him.
He played Amadeus.
He did. I would have given him Best Supporting, or like Sam Waterston.
And
the
Killing Fields. No, the Killing Fields. Come on.
Well, the Killing Fields great, but Sam Waterston
anyways,
is Sam Waterston. Steve Martin would have been a better.
Now
I don't know. It's pretty hard to argue with any of those guys. Maybe Tom Hulse.
Tom Hulse should have been a supporting actor.
He was probably the weakest of all of those.
He was great though.
He was fine. I actually didn't like Amadeus. All these, I just watched Moonlight the other night, and I was like, really, that was the best picture. It was okay. I fell asleep.
You know what you need to do? You need to go watch La La Land and then compare the two and go, thank God Moonlight won. Because La La Land is a pile of human feces. It is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is.
It's the worst movie you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, cause I was watching it with my wife, and she says, "Well, that was way better than La La Land," and she thought it was pretty good. But honestly, I thought it was a good movie. It was solid, but it was kind of boring. Really, I fell asleep during it.
I thought Moonlight was really.
Yeah.
Let's get back to all of
I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to like it. I wanted to be emotionally involved and touched. I wanted to cry when I watched it. And I
really?
did.
Like you did during Arrival.
The little kid. When that scene in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was okay. I don't know. It was almost borderline creepy. This dude that just
creepy.
The dude who hangs out with him is like following him in the ocean.
Anyways, sorry.
We can run it during the closing credits like the Burt Reynolds movies.
Now, okay, so if we're gonna talk about Best Picture winners, in the last 5 years, my favorite Best Picture winner was Spotlight. I think that was the one that really.
Spotlight was
deserved.
a really good film for sure. But when it comes to when I look at all the Academy Awards movies, they're rarely any of the ones that I picked as my favorite movies of the year. Rarely.
I generally go, please don't pick this one.
Yeah.
And when that happens, because I was convinced that La La Land was going to win, and La La Land is so terrible.
Yeah, and that's.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's
and again,
awful.
jumping back to this era when Kurt Thomas was not nominated for Jim Cotta, I was just.
you were infuriated.
All right.
All right, let's now all of us. Let's talk about all of me.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, edit.
All right, thank you. So, what the hell were we talking about?
All of me. So.
I know, but okay. So I think I don't know if Steve Martin actually looking at this list. Now I haven't seen Under the Okay, so the nominees that year were F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulce for Amadeus, Albert Finney for Under the Volcano, which I've never seen, Jeff Bridges for Starman, which I have seen, and frankly, it's kind of a boring performance.
No, I thought it was a pretty amazing performance actually.
It's not as good as F. Murray Abraham and Amadeus though.
Or Steve Martin and All of Me maybe.
Or and Sam Waters in The Killing Fields. Now I've seen
Killing Fields is a fucking
the only one of
It
these.
is an amazing movie, but I don't think Sam Waterston makes it. It won a Best Supporting Actor.
But
for that doctor who later passed away in real life.
The thing is, that was the only movie he's ever acted in.
That was
he actually lived through that.
They didn't need Waterston.
Actually, you know what? In this year, I kind of think Steve Martin was robbed. If these are the nominees, like.
Sam Waterston's good in that movie.
I love Jeff Bridges,
it's nothing special.
But fuck Jeff Bridges.
No. I'd leave Jeff Bridges. I'd bump Sam Waterston.
I would bump Tom Hulce out of Amadeus.
I wouldn't. No.
Oh, I like him as Amadeus. Sam Waterston was kind of.
But he was too.
He's more the cipher in that film. It's not
anyways,
really
let's
whatever the case, Steve Martin
deserved
to be nominated. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Steve Martin actually did deserve to be nominated for an Academy Award for All of Me. The commitment to this, I mean. I guess the problem is the content of the film itself, because it is kind of shallow.
It's a comedy. It's a comedy, and people rarely get nominated.
It's not shallow at all. I think this film
not
really
shallow,
said a lot about
but lighthearted, not shallow, but lighthearted.
But the thing is, it's a comedy, and people don't get nominated for comedies and horror movies in the Academy Awards. The Academy Awards is all bullshit, anyways. Who cares? Like, who really gives a shit? Like,
it's fun to watch,
I look at like the past 30 years of the movies that have won Best Picture, and I probably maybe 4 or 5 I maybe agree with, and that's it. Total.
Like Crash totally deserved it.
No, it didn't.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Driving Miss Daisy is so much of a better film than Do the Right Thing.
Oh,
which
I know.
wasn't even nominated.
I know. The thing is.
Okay, wait. We're getting.
We should have
way off course.
We're going down an Academy Awards rabbit hole here.
It is.
Let's save this chunk of the show for the upcoming.
Let's focus on
Academy Award.
And we'll all wear tuxedos and talk about.
Oh, we are gonna. For sure, we're doing an Academy Award special. You know that, right?
Yeah, but just so you know,
it will be Sunday night, so we can.
It will,
live.
but I'll be hosting the Oscars at the Rio. No, but I can get here by 10. It'll wrap up.
Doesn't matter. Anyways,
it does matter.
No, it doesn't matter to this podcast right now at this point in time. So anyway, we have a whole series of events that like Lily Tomlin wants to get in Victoria 10's body, like everyone else in this movie.
Yeah.
And there was a little joke there.
You know what?
And so there's a whole bunch of funny things happen, and we need to sort of speed this along and wrap it up.
You know what I found is. Well, actually, no. It's only been like an hour and 5 minutes at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have like another 3 hours to talk about the movie then.
Yeah. Well, Krull, it was a 2 hour and 15 minute fucking.
Yeah, that was our fault.
Yes. What I loved about this movie, its simple premise, and B, how much comedy it actually mined out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought, I am going to get so sick of seeing this guy have a woman inside half his body in about 10 minutes. And I never did.
No.
I never did.
No, because it always changed. It always sort of progressed,
And then it gets into sex, where he's about to bone the hot blonde. And I'm like, well, here's where I get tired of it. And I still didn't, because there's that amazing conversation in his head where she's thinking of like... God, who's it? Errol Flynn?
No, Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
Yeah.
She's thinking of Clark Gable, but he can't get a boner when she's thinking about Clark Gable.
She's thinking about the whole cast of.
Like,
but at first she's thinking about.
The wind.
But in the beginning she's thinking of dead kittens because she doesn't want to do it.
No, she's trying to keep him
dead
from getting
puppies
a boner. And he goes like, oh no, she's thinking about dead kittens. Oh my God, this movie is actually. Oh my God.
But yeah, she goes through the whole entire cast of Gone with the Wind.
They're all having an orgy.
Even like the
Once he finally
the black
can make...
maid. I can't remember what her name was, but it was so funny.
Oh, there's so many great
He names
lines.
them all Ashley, all of them, and they're all getting it on.
Yeah.
He's trying to get it up for the blonde, and then she's like, I gotta think of Clark Gable, and he's like, okay, fine, think of Clark Gable, but can't you throw a couple of women on top of him at the same time?
So Vivian Lee and whoever else did.
So they have this conversation in his head.
Yeah.
And she actually is like, oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. And so then he has to work up this Gone with the Wind orgy and then he never does have sex with her. And this is where you realize that the Blondie is bad.
It's also it's funny because Ravel's Bolero is playing in the background.
Which is a throwback
to 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is
directed by Blake Edwards, and I think Blake Edwards was like, "How dare you use my famous musical cue in your sex scene?
Right.
I'm going to get back at you by making Switch years later.
Really?
I'm going to rip you off."
Wow.
And he did Switch a decade later.
That's a whole bunch of Hollywood horse shit.
The thing is, it wasn't obviously Ravel's Bolero, though.
But
not in the same way that 10 was.
No, but it was. It had that same build-up and theme. That obviously it was obvious music. It was obviously Ravel's Bolero, but it wasn't quite. It wasn't the quintessential.
Yeah, but I never heard the do 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 do.
It was there.
Like I never heard that.
I did.
I thought that sounds like Bolero, and that reminds me of that fucking shitty.
Weekend at Bernie's.
No.
10 with Dudley Moore and Bo Derek.
That shitty Dudley Moore movie.
It's not shitty.
Okay, well then you.
What is shitty?
Well then you pick it.
What is shitty is the other Bo Derek movie with Bolero, and it's called Bolero, directed by our husband John Derek, and we have that in our cult section.
How many movies have the song Bolero?
Anyways, but it was that era where that was
middle-aged comedies.
It was the go-to sex music. It was Bolero,
especially for middle-aged sex.
You know, Bolero is exactly 26 minutes long. What? Every podcast?
Yeah.
How are we gonna edit that out?
We're not.
Well, no. Just
you belched on
it's
camera.
A trademark.
You're like a sarlacc on mic.
That's
I didn't do it on camera. I did it on mic.
That's your trademark, is belching out loud?
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's my cue.
Yeah. You cue to what?
Bolero is exactly 26 minutes long. And,
how do you know this, there, middle-aged sex guy? Huh?
Because
you put it on every time.
Who hasn't had sex to Bolero?
You have it all queued up after these shows when all these young
stand-up
comedy groomies are coming at you saying, "Oh my God, you're so funny."
I prefer Carmina Burana myself.
I
see. What?
I know it's 26 minutes long because I was in a sketch comedy group in 1997, and we had a sketch where it was anyways, this is beside the point. But it was time. The sketch was timed to Bolero, and it was a 26-minute sketch.
I have the words written down here. Sex poodle. Does that make
yeah. That's so not sexy.
No.
Yeah, she's like, I want to be your sex poodle.
That's right.
Also, the word poodle isn't funny. People have to stop thinking poodles are funny.
Well, maybe in 1984 it was funny. I don't know.
Yeah, and Lily Tomlin hates her because. Anyways. Oh, you know a joke I love is At one point, Steve Martin shouts at Lily Tomlin in the beginning of the movie, "You've taken all the fun out of being a lawyer."
That's a good line. Actually,
this movie is full of hilarious lines like that.
If you remember the courtroom scene when because Steve Martin has fallen asleep because he's so tired, and Lily Tomlin has to inhabit his body,
has to take over the body,
and she's going, "Okay, act like a man." So she starts scratching. She actually spits like
she
horks in the courtroom. She's scratching her nuts.
Oh God!
It's so brilliant. It's so funny.
And she calls the judge like buddy boy or something, like, "Hey, buddy boy."
She refers to him by his first name too.
Well, she does the thing where you plug one side of your nostril and blow the rest of the other side, like.
Yeah, because she's not only a woman trying to be a man, she's a privileged woman who's never left her bedroom, like strutting around.
She has no idea.
Oh my god! And here's how good this movie is in that scene. I was like, oh, this is Lily Tomlin acting. For some reason, I forgot it was Steve Martin.
Exactly.
I'm like, this is
he's so good. You think it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this movie, he should have been nominated for an Academy Award.
Steve Martin. I'm going to go on a limb right now and say Steve Martin should have been nominated for Academy Award.
The movie does fall apart in the third act. I think
there's some running around and there's this and that. It becomes kind of dumb.
There's a reveal that the person that you know is gonna be like Blondie turns out to be a bad guy, and she's like, I don't buy into this soul shit.
Well, who would?
I know. I just want to inherit $20 million and fuck you, right?
But
there's this weird scene where Blondie, because she's English. And so
which means she's bad. She's evil.
The enemy of America.
This was back in the day when the English were the enemy of America.
They've never forgiven America
for bailing them out during the war.
Wait, they've never forgiven the English
for nothing really.
The Boston Tea Party? Wait, no, that was them.
That was
she's English.
For the American Revolution.
She's English, so she's still mad about the Boston Tea Party.
Right.
The American Revolution.
No, but she goes to the stables and she's like, yes, Father, I'm evil, and now I have $20 million. Move up to the house. And then he's all, it's inappropriate. Lily Tomlin, that bitch has been good to me my entire life.
Not actual voices.
Yeah, these aren't actual. No, but it's like
Jesus. Who invited the actor to?
I know. I feel like I'm in the movie right now.
That scene was ludicrous.
Steve Martin's knocking at the door.
The scene was fucking ridiculous. Where she's like, finally, I'll get my revenge, because apparently her motive the entire time has been revenge.
But revenge on what though?
What?
No, it's not revenge. Her motive is she reveals that Steve Martin, when he tries to arrange a body switch with the You don't agree with me?
No.
She arranges the body switch with when they plan to correct the body switch.
Yeah.
She reveals she doesn't want to go through with it because she thought the whole idea of a body switch was bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
all she wants to do is
have $20 million.
Yeah,
but then she goes and talks to her father in the stable, and she's like, finally, Father, I will bring you up from the stable. And he's like, I want to stay in the stable. I don't want... It's improper for me to be in the house.
Which is stupid. Your daughter owns a house. It's not improper to be in a house.
Yeah, but we find out later why.
Who said that?
If this movie took place, if it was a Merchant Ivory production, and it was like
Anthony Hopkins and
exactly Remains of the Day. If it was Remains of the Day,
Emma Thompson.
I'd be like, see, that's what I'm talking about, Alex.
Remains of the Day again.
You could close the door. It wouldn't be the worst thing. Anyways. No, but it's like, suddenly he pulls this Remains of the Day shit where he's like, I couldn't possibly come into the big house. And it's like, completely, it has no reason to be in the movie.
No.
Especially when the movie's over and you're watching the credits, you're like, why was that scene even in there?
But it kind of does, because it establishes how bad she is as opposed to how good her father is a good, virtuous man. But I think it just emphasizes how bad she is.
He's a good virtuous man because he knows his place.
Exactly. And so he's living the stable.
He should have been like, fuck yeah, I've always hated that rich bitch. You know? Anyway, so then they have. I don't even remember.
Well, there's a whole series of funny. Actually, there's that scene when they want to get Lily Tomlin back in the bowl, and so back in the bowl. But I have said back in the bowl.
What Alex? We're closed.
Well, I'm just putting some movies in the bin.
Are you gonna take your clothes off again, dude? What are you doing, man?
Well, I just spotted some movies in the...
We don't need to do that right now. We can
Swordfish. I'm determined to put that in the dollar bin every time.
I like Swordfish.
Oh, come on.
I had a good opening, actually.
Swordfish is better than people give it credit for.
I agree.
It's just because the cast is so cheesy that... Anyways, okay, so there's this, and frankly, this is where the movie has problems. Is when it goes into the third act.
It gets a little goofy when all of a sudden she's been put into a glass of water who Steve Martin gives to his blind musician friend to keep like a control over.
Yeah.
Who drinks it, becomes Lily Tomlin.
Well, okay. But before all of that,
still worked for me.
To lead up.
It was all funny. It was all well done. It was all funny.
To lead up to this point. I
think we're getting a little off track because we're getting a little drunk.
To lead up to this
yeah,
point.
another one. Thanks.
And here was my problem with the movie is that there's never any conflict outside of Steve Martin and his own body. Like, who gives a shit about this woman's fortune and who inherits the fortune or whatever? And I didn't give it. I'm like, who cares about some rich bitch?
Well, the thing is, I think we cared because we were invested in Lily Tomlin's character, who was sort of naive and likable. And she wanted just to, carry on. And it was because she had a contract with this.
I didn't find out.
Well, the fortune is the MacGuffin, as Hitchcock would put it. It's all about, will Steve get Lily Tomlin out of his body or not?
Yes.
That's all it is.
Okay.
You're not supposed to care about the fortune.
But the thing is, once she's out of his body, he misses her out of his body.
Okay, yes. No.
They become friends.
All of these, I agree with all of these points. The problem I had with the movie was in the third act, I'm supposed to care that the blonde woman who signed a legal contract with Lily Tomlin is inheriting money that she's legally entitled to, and I'm supposed to feel like she's not.
Well, the reason because she's evil, because she comes across as being.
She's not evil because she doesn't know that Lily Tomlin is actually in Steve Martin's body.
She does know that.
She does.
She totally knows that.
No,
and she's evil. Because
she does.
How does she know that?
Because it's established through the sex scenes for one thing.
She was lying.
Who was lying?
The blonde Victoria. What's her name?
But no, it's established that she knows that it actually worked. She knows it actually worked. I think the line she actually says
no. She was lying the whole time.
I just want to interject. She was lying in the bed the whole time.
Well, she was a con man.
But I want to throw, and that's another reason why you don't want her to get the money, because she seems to be doing it for these altruistic reasons, but she's really doing it because she thinks Edwin is just nuts and wants to take her money.
Who wouldn't do that?
Who wouldn't? But
I would do that.
Yeah,
exactly why I didn't think she was a bad guy.
Because when the movie approaches the end, she was willing to murder Steve Martin.
That's right.
That proves how bad she is.
Okay,
By the way,
all right.
A little trivial side note. You almost picked Naked Gun for this week's podcast. What do these two films have in common?
I don't know.
Victoria Tennant?
No, when Steve Martin's fiance storms out of this office earlier, she says, I faked all my orgasms, and he says, so did I. That joke's in the Naked Gun.
Well, who would ever know that besides you?
Me.
Alex,
I knew that.
Are you a Terminator programmed with movie knowledge?
At least it's not killing knowledge.
Because I knew I'd heard that joke before.
It was Naked Gun. I thought, holy shit, Dylan's on.
I really want to do the Naked Gun for the show.
Dylan
you guys are still missing my point.
I was just thinking, Dylan was thinking my favorite joke of all time in history is, I faked my orgasms, yes, so did I. And it's only 2 movies have nailed it, Naked Gun
and
or All of Me. Now, was my theory correct? Is that why you almost picked that movie in this one? Because you love that
Probably
show?
not at all.
No?
What, you like Mysterio controlling my brain? It is weird because on the last podcast I could not decide between All of Me or The Naked Gun, and I went with All of Me just because I'd seen The Naked Gun more recently.
Anyways. Fuck.
Okay, so
I don't know what just happened there.
So I can't quite articulate the problems that I have with the third act of this movie.
Well,
I think it's a brilliant comedy, but a very poorly made caper. I don't care that, like, when Steve Martin's like, we have to go up to the house and we have to. In fact, when Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin in his body, I think at this point.
Yeah, he did have Lily Tomlin in his body.
He creeps into her house. I'm like, actually, you're kind of in the wrong here, buddy, because like this woman has the legal entitlement to the.
No, she did it under false premises.
Oh, fuck off, man!
No, she did.
Everybody would have
premises.
It's only false premises if
pretenses.
Pretenses. It's only false pretenses if she actually understood that this was real. But Victoria, what's her name?
Tennant.
Victoria Tennant's character probably was like, oh, this woman's an old loon. Yes.
Well,
I'll take over your body.
Who wouldn't do that?
So I was actually actually very much on Victoria Tennant's side.
I wasn't.
So when fucking Steve Martin creeps in, and by the way, if you're gonna break into a house, why are you bringing your blind blues friend in? Like, and this is the point.
Well, why wouldn't you bring him?
I think you're just looking for too much plausibility in this movie at this point.
No. At this point, I just thought it got kind of stupid, and I didn't like the last 25 minutes of this movie.
I did as well. I didn't really have a problem with where it went, because it wasn't too Three's Company outlandish, but it was borderline with people running around and the Swami, it was a little silly. But
you say Three's Company like it's a bad thing.
You know where I would have liked the movie to end? I would have liked the movie to end when Lily Tomlin's soul goes into the water jug.
Right.
And at that
and then it just ended right there.
And I was like, no, but even there I was like, this is kind of dumb.
The camera would zoom out from the water jug and be like, maybe the solar system.
And then the sun just sucked.
The sun, yeah.
Or maybe end with Victoria Tennant having a glass of water.
I would have been perfectly happy with her soul goes into the fucking bucket of water. And Steve Martin grabs the bucket of water and he pours it into the water jug and he gives it to the blind guy. And then the blind guy winds up. So the honky. Well, but then you're led to believe that. And by the way, they never actually explain where her jug of water comes from. Because you see evil Victoria Tennant pouring the water into the plants.
Right.
And she's like, meh.
But he drank because
but it
he thought it was
turns out
gin.
the blind black guy fucking drank it.
Well, but the thing is, would you have to drink the whole thing or just a sip?
Well, I don't know.
Because obviously he didn't drink the whole thing. Because she poured part of it out into the hedge.
There's lots of similar looking jugs of water around.
My point being,
she just grabbed one and poured it in the hedge?
Yeah.
I think it would have been a perfectly acceptable ending for Victoria Tennant to pour it out, and you think that Lily Tomlin is dead in the plants, but it turns out
or living in the plants.
But it turns out that she's like in the black guy, and then you get her soul back from the black guy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need her pulling out a gun and.
I did. I liked it all.
Dude, it was so fucking lame.
It proved what a bitch she was. That justified.
And then it turns out
that
that buddy from MacGyver is like boning a chick, and that ending was kind of lame.
No, I liked it. Especially love how it climaxes with a great dance between Tomlin and.
Oh, we're gonna.
That was really. You can tell that was all improvised too.
We're not getting in.
Let's wrap this up right now.
Do we want to cut to the end? Then?
Yeah, so let's cut to the end. Like, just wrap it up.
I'm not quite sure how they filmed stuff back then, but it's
green screen. It's all green screen.
The only one who picked up on it's great because Lily Tomlin and Steve Martin are dancing together in the mirror.
Yeah. No,
they didn't seem like they were in love when they were dancing.
They seemed like they were having a very good time.
The thing is, though, but I don't
didn't seem like they were in love.
But they were having fun.
I don't think this movie is necessarily about falling in love as much as becoming good buddies.
No, it's fuck right off. Alex.
Well, the original title was Good Buddies.
Was it?
By the way, while we're talking about the original title, the book. Anyone knows the name of the book that it was based on?
Good Buddies.
The Dylan Reimer story.
That's right.
Wow. You had a story back in 1984?
No, the book was called
like 6?
It was Me Too, like Me Too.
Me, like the number 2?
Which I think is a better name than All of Me, personally.
No, actually, I think it's a terrible name.
So, anyways.
Me Too.
Huh?
I think it's a terrible name. Me Too. Yeah, but I never got the impression that they were supposed to be in love, and this has nothing to do.
Of course they were.
No, it has nothing to do with.
Because it's a typical romantic story. Like they start hating each other, and they grow to love each other, and there's a conflict, and they finally get together. I
still think they're good buddies, though. Even though she does say she wants to have sex with him when she takes over the woman's body.
What? No.
Which is perfect for.
Dude,
which is also somewhat disturbing if you think it's perfect for him because he has Lily Tomlin's personality in Victoria Tennant's body, who's it's a win-win for Steve Martin, but it's a lose-lose for everyone else, I guess. I don't know.
Well, not for Lily Tomlin. It would be for the Victoria Tennant. But they
we totally forgot.
Totally lose for her.
So
she loses her soul.
There's this huge bullshit fucking scene where Victoria Tennant pulls out a gun and blah 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 blah.
It's all good.
And they walk into Dana Elkar's room and he's boning some chick and like why is he even there?
Yeah, why is he sleeping over?
I have no idea.
Because he's enough of a philanderer. He ends up.
But he's sleeping over someone else's house with someone.
And it's getting late. Well, if you met someone at a party and had the chance to sneak off to a guest bedroom in a 1,000-seat. If you're a known philanderer, you meet a woman at a party and it's like there's 1,000 guest rooms, you'd probably sneak off with them. You would.
Of course.
Decadent millionaire.
No, but are you allowed? Are you allowed to spend the night?
It's a convenient plot device. Is what it is.
Well, whatever. It worked. Come on.
Why was he staying over? Like,
guys,
why
if you're questioning the plausibility this far into the movie, it's like.
There's this really not tense fucking. Don't fuck off and take a leak now.
No,
you want me to take a leak here?
Yeah.
He's going to. It's too high. He's taking his shirt off again.
Whatever. I don't expect like a realistic fight scene where they wrestle the gun from her hand or whatever. But even by my low standards, it was kind of.
And you have insanely low standards.
I have very low standards.
Yeah. That's why you work.
It was kind of. Oh, that wasn't an exciting climax at all. So then they have the gun, and they aim it at Victoria Tennant, and I have no idea why she agreed to this, because legally she's totally in the right.
Yeah.
She owns all of the property.
Yeah, she's really done nothing wrong.
And then the dad comes in and goes, "Not the police again." Now, did I miss something?
I think
because they never tell you what the crime that she's supposed to have committed is.
It was alluded to. It was alluded to that she'd done other crimes, she'd done other scams.
How
never in the whole movie until.
Oh, gross.
I heard some reference to, "Hey, Alex, take your shirt off."
No, we didn't ask you to take your shirt off.
God.
We wondered if you were taking your shirt off.
You're like a dust bunny made flesh. I can't.
Hey, no body shaming. I'm leaving this podcast due to body shaming.
For those of you watching at home, Alex is now semi-naked.
I'm being body shamed.
Two podcasts in a row, Alex is taking his shirt off.
So anyway, all of me.
You're kind of like
just think of Victoria.
This is all of him.
Think of me a Victoria Tennant, okay, in a 90.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But seriously,
very similar.
But it worked.
Okay, wait. So there's this huge climax where Steve Martin's got the gun, and then he's like, "You got to go back into." My eyes will be closed for the rest of this recording. But then Victoria Tennant's dad comes in and goes,
trying not to get an erection
he says, "Not again." And so then Steve Martin's like, "I'll call the police or whatever," but they never tell you what she did.
They do.
Well, it was alluded to that she does something nefarious in the past.
No. They say extortion among other things.
And
they don't fucking clarify.
In the end, she's turned into a horse, right?
Well, yeah, no. And here's my point: is that she chooses to be turned to a horse because going to prison is such a horrible idea.
Well,
we as the audience don't know how much. Did she murder somebody? What? Like they never.
Well, attempted murder with Steve Martin.
They never. Oh fuck! No, whatever, man. Like, I'm sorry.
You can't accept the fact that she's evil after threatening to murder Steve Martin at this point. I just don't know what to say.
I still don't.
I think you're a murder apologist.
I don't know why the fuck. Why would anybody agree to become a horse?
She didn't.
She did.
Well, she loves horses.
She totally did.
They turned her into a fucking horse.
Well, she does, but she agreed to because she wants to be one with the universe.
Well,
no, she doesn't. Though. No, because she's a fraud.
Well, she has no choice. She says she'll do anything but go back to jail. She says she'll do anything but not go back to jail.
Okay, here's a question.
What?
You are the legal owner, inheritor.
Yes.
Thank you for putting your shirt back on.
Thank you for putting your shirt back on.
I never took it off. It's all there.
You have $20 million. Someone breaks into your house. You take the gun from them. And then they take the gun from you. Or wait, no.
And then they give it to someone else.
Someone breaks into your house and you have a gun. Okay, so how do you think this is going to play out with the cops? Obviously, you're in the right. You, the millionaire with the gun, and this fucking lunatic who you sort of kind of boned fucking 2 weeks ago. Anyways,
what the
you're going to agree. My question is, why would you agree to become a horse?
Because she doesn't want to go back to jail, and she loves horses.
No,
and everyone is.
But she's not going back to jail. She's got $20 million. You broke into her fucking house.
Yeah, but she's attempted murder.
It's true. It's all like, I'm going to. She could have just pulled the gun and said, "I'm calling the cops now."
How is
she's like, "I'm going to shoot you." And she's confessed.
Murder? How?
Because she explains what she's going to do to them at gunpoint.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you get into court, what do you think she's going to say? That didn't happen.
Well, so you think it's okay that she goes to court and lies her way out of this?
Yes.
Well, I don't. So there you go. Just desserts.
This psycho who claims he's got a woman in half his body
He's not a psycho.
and a blind friend came in. I was scared. I pulled a gun.
Well,
you know what, Dylan? Dylan, I got bad news for you. You're on the wrong side of history.
I'm afraid I'm not.
You're on the wrong side of history.
Dude,
You're rooting for the wrong people, man.
The thing is,
why would anyone agree to become a horse when if you have 20 million, you get the best lawyers in California?
Personally,
and make sure Steve Martin goes to fucking jail for breaking into your house.
Because she's already confessed. They have her by short and curly.
No, she does. No, was it recorded?
No,
but everyone's there and they witness.
Personally, I love the.
Everyone's there.
Listen. I love the fact we
His
now.
car?
Listen, I love the fact now we have the option.
Yeah.
Of either going to jail or being turned into an animal,
horse.
or a horse, or an otter, or
OJ should have just became a horse.
You must have loved the lobster.
People would have loved the horse.
I love the lobster.
Okay.
I hated the lobster.
Really?
Pretentious wanko.
It's fucking awesome, man.
I hate that fucking movie.
These guys just high-fived, and the smacking sound was their hands almost hitting like full on.
Well, actually, it was Dylan smacking me on my bare back.
With my cock.
shirt on.
Hey, bareback.
Yeah.
The lobster's awesome. Anyways, let's get back to let's wrap this fucking thing up. We're going over time.
I'm trying to.
We want to go to the dime,
I'm trying to wrap it up, but there is a problem with this movie.
Really, not really. There's really not a big problem.
Dude, why would she ever agree to be turned into a horse?
Because it's a comedy.
What, that's your reason?
Because it's a comedy, yeah.
Well, she loves horses, doesn't she?
She loved horses. She loved riding horses.
She does. She rides them.
Lily Tomlin loved the horses.
No, but she's riding horses through it, and they even say how Lily Tomlin had to watch her run it.
It's a comedy. You guys are going to let it go, even though it's idiotic. All right?
Well, what do you mean? Of course it's idiotic. The whole movie is idiotic.
I'm just saying the third act sucked.
It didn't suck.
It didn't suck. It was the weakest part of the movie, but it didn't suck.
Though. God, when he's like, I gotta call my jazz friends so I can.
And have a jazz fight?
No, he's like, I need to get into this mansion. Let me call my jazz friends, and then it's cut to a bus driving in, and they're all wearing sunglasses when they come off the bus.
Because jazz guys do that, right?
I guess.
Yeah, well, it was 80s comedy. There's a lot of things that I don't like. The whole Swami thing, which I still found amusing, but mildly offensive for some reason. I don't know.
Even though it's not offensive to any particular race.
Yeah, but but the thing is, it is because. I don't know. I can't explain. I don't know why.
It's a made-up religion. How is this offensive to anybody?
Because it's making fun of. Because I don't know. I have no idea.
Aren't you an atheist?
Yes.
So why do you give a shit?
I don't give a shit. I'm not. I wasn't offended.
But you were, in typical Vancouver fashion, you were offended on behalf of other people.
Exactly.
Who don't exist. So, the Swami flushes the toilet when the phone rings. Now, when I was a kid, like the way I remembered it, I thought it was a brown guy with a turban, and I thought, oh, that's really offensive to Sikhs.
But it wasn't brown. He didn't have a turban.
Then I see the movie, I'm like, oh, it's just some guy with a beard.
So
he's a hippie, fucking hippie. Who cares?
Because they playing him as so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a dumb hippie.
Yeah.
Who happened to be right.
Anyway,
but you guys are both wrong about this horse thing, because nobody in their right mind would choose to be a horse instead of call the police and have this maniac who broke into your house with his blind friend arrested. You have to have him arrested.
But what if you really like horses?
Why would you ever go, okay, you got me? You wouldn't. You would hire because you have $20 million at your disposal legally because you inherited it.
So you hire Steve Martin as your lawyer.
So you hire the guy from...
You hired Johnny Cochran.
No.
The guy from
All Roads Lead to OJ.
No, he was defense. I was going to say you
LA Law.
You hire the guy from...
Night Court.
The guy from...
Corbin Burnson, who was on LA Law, who's also in the
rip-off. Killing Fields. What's his name?
Sam Watterson.
Sam Watterson. From LA Law.
No, he's from...
Law and Order.
I wouldn't. I would hire Corbin
LA
Burnson.
Law and Order.
Corbin Burnson could relate because he later starred in the rip-off of All of Me called Switch.
Oh, And you know what? So was what's
Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy Smits.
Switch.
Oh,
yeah.
Heavy.
Hey, we should do. You should.
No,
pick
we're not.
Switch.
No, we're not doing Switch.
I'm
We
picking
don't
our
have
next
Switch
movie.
yet.
I'm picking our next movie.
We should make this podcast nothing but body swapping movies.
No thanks. Invasion of the,
The body
Snatchers.
swap.
Hey, wait a minute.
I think we run
with
movies
the
pretty
exception
quickly,
of did Freaky Friday come out before All of Me?
Which
Yes, it did. The Jodie Foster one did.
Yeah,
Jodie
From the
Foster
70s.
one.
So listen.
Oh yeah. So here we are.
Here we are. We watched the
Endless
movie.
suffering here.
Does this movie hold up?
Absolutely.
Go
I loved it.
Oh yeah, okay, Mister. I hate the third act.
I do hate the third
That's
act.
okay.
Well, there you go.
I do hate. Well, no, I don't.
I think you're lying now.
I don't hate the third act. I just thought it.
It was the weakest point of the movie.
It was the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah, I have to agree.
It was my least favorite part.
Yeah.
And in fact, I didn't think it had to be a big caper. I would have been very, very happy just seeing a movie where Steve Martin has Lily Tomlin stuck in his body, and for the most part, I got that. And here at Black Dog Video, if somebody on 2 for 1 Monday walked up.
Are we going to recommendations already? Okay.
Well, we may as well.
Sure.
I would love to recommend a movie that I would recommend would be Big. Do we have Big?
We have Big. Of course we have Big.
Okay. Well,
Big,
I don't know.
Yeah. Big is a great movie.
Big is fantastic.
No.
I would also recommend Vice Versa. Do we have that?
No.
I can't say that.
And it's not good.
Okay.
No, don't.
Isn't that the one with Kirk Cameron and Judge?
No, that's
Judge
like
Reinhold?
Father Like Son.
Okay. Oh, then you're talking about Dudley
Reinhold.
Moore and Frank Savage. Fred Savage.
Holy
Sorry,
fuck.
It's vice
Fred
versa.
Savage.
And Dudley
No, you
Moore
know
did one.
Never mind.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, or Shaquille
Freaky
O'Neal and
Friday.
Helen Mirren.
I would totally recommend. What movie were we talking about again?
Ghost has elements of body switch in it.
Well,
And the Gentleman Hecklers are doing that next month.
really?
I would totally recommend All of Me. It's a forgotten classic, and I think it deserves a lot more attention than it gets. And if somebody were to ask, I would either recommend The Jerk, which I haven't seen,
Brilliant.
I recommend a movie.
or Big, which is a movie that I love. That's also about like sort of a man-child in a different body.
All of Me totally holds up, and I'm not joking.
He's not joking.
I said this once with that In the Mouth of Madness movie, but I'm even thinking like 30 years ahead when we're all dead, or 40 years down the road.
30.
Whatever.
Speak
People
for
are looking
yourself.
at the Steve
exactly.
Martin.
3
Ten-
years.
Steve
of
Martin,
your-
whatever, but
10
listen.
for you.
Fine, but Steve Martin, seriously, this is like, seriously, he put himself in the realm of Chaplin-esque with this film. It's brilliant.
I have to
I
agree.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I really want to pick the next movie, but I'll save that for after you speak.
Yeah.
What do you think, All of Me?
I thought it's funny. I was talking to my wife about this before I watched the movie, and I said, "Yeah, we're doing All of Me," and she goes, "That's a Steve Martin," and I said, "Yeah, Steve Martin comedy." She goes, "Oh, that's not going to hold up. Steve Martin comedies from there's no way." It totally holds up. I love this movie. I loved watching it again. It was I was skeptical because after having the conversation, because I haven't seen it in 30 years or whatever it was, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. It was funny. It had all these subtle little character things, little subtle lines, which I love. I love little subtle comedy lines, like the blind dude. It has these great little lines. I wish I could remember some of them because all through the whole movie is these great little lines.
What I loved was where Steve Martin says to him, I can't remember how it comes up, but he goes, "You're white." Like he makes a joke and goes, "You're white," and then he blows his saxophone and he plays Auld Lang Syne. And he
That's
goes,
right.
"Oh shit, I am white." There's wonderful little jokes.
Well, for me, it was all the little moments to go along with the broad comedy of the brilliant broad comedy of Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin together, which to me was a really nice pair. They really worked well together, and just watching Steve Martin just inhabit it was great. I would highly recommend this movie to anybody that wants to see a great little 80s comedy. So yeah, totally holds up.
So a forgotten classic. We
Classic.
can all agree.
And if I'm going to pair this with a movie, well, let's see. I saw the new It recently, and I thought it was a great little horror movie, good clown scary movie. I would totally. It's the best version of the Stephen King novel
Of the two.
And I would recommend It with All of Me.
Steve Martin and Carl Reiner did several great movies together. You know what I'd pair it up with, just because it's Equal and Seen is a really fun, and I consider it an experimental film they did together. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is great.
Yes, it's all
black
it's
and
a
white
montage
noir.
of old public domain gangster films.
It's insanely good.
It's insanely good, and I really think I would throw that in.
Or even what's the other one they did with Kathleen Turner?
The Man with Two Brains.
Which is
that's funny as well.
Very funny, and it has one of my favorite lines: "Into the mud, scum queen." I say it all the time.
It's a funny movie, and you said it to me like earlier to Dustin.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Good night. I've been Darren Gay, actually the owner of Black Dog Video. We didn't do the introductions. And
Dylan Reimer, a guy who works at Black Dog Video.
I'm Alex Chisholm. I work here at Black Dog, and I also program the Rio.
And we all love fucking movies. Actually, we all fucking love movies.
Yes.
That's better. I don't fuck a lot of movies. No. I love a lot of movies.
Anyways, good night.
Good night. Oh, and we are located on Commercial Drive in sunny Vancouver at the corner of Commercial Drive and Grant Street, and also on
Canby Street.
Canby Street at 20th or 19th or wherever. That's the end of the podcast. Watch all of me.
Drive safe.
Because it was a damn good pick.
Can I pick a movie that's on YouTube but not in our collection?
No.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.